Record. Now, share. Okay, now how do we do this, Nirmala? Whoever wants to chant, please go ahead.
No, today just leave it. From tomorrow onwards, next time session onwards, each thing you chant it 3 times, because then by the time these guys, everyone, all of us will get it.
Okay, for the sake of recording, let's chant again.
Okay.
Bhagavadgita, chapter 2, verse number 27. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrutyur dhruvam janma mrutasya cha tasmada pariharyerthe natvam shocitumarhasi. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrutyuh dhruvam janma mrutasya cha tasmada pariharyerthe natvam shocitumarhasi. Dehi nityamavadhyoyam. This is Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 shloka number 30. Dehi nityamavadhyoyam dehe sarvasya bharata tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam shocitumarhasi. Dehi nityamavadhyoyam dehe sarvasya bharata tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam shocitum arhasi. Okay. So what is most important here is Krishna is now Krishna started with the very highest philosophy, right? Krishna has started with the highest philosophy. Now he is switching to plain common sense, if you notice, right? He's just, whatever Krishna is saying in this shloka is plain common sense, that whatever is born will die. You cannot change certain things. You cannot change the laws of nature. So why are you lamenting? What about the contemplation by others? You want to share, people? I'm sure you're all ready with some insights on this.
See, one person came and said, I don't believe in this Punarjanma and all. He came and told Paramacharya that. Immediately Paramacharya said, okay, do me a favor. Go to the delivery place and go and see the children, all the babies, and come back and report. He went and saw. Some babies are beautiful, some babies are ugly, some babies don't have eyes, some baby has some mutations. So where do you get all that from? It's based on your vasanas. And where did you collect all those vasanas? From your previous janmas. So that decides your onward journey. So that's what it is.
Correct.
So we many things we do when we see that some other factor is dealing out things.
Laying out all the time.
Yes. Yes. It is not only our human effort or anything. When the grace is there, suddenly you seem to be blooming. Suddenly you seem to be doing very well.
Correct.
Whereas some other places you fall sick. अरे जो करके आए हैं उसका भुगतना पड़ता है ना.
Correct. So correct Nirmala ji. Anyone else?
I can go actually.
Yeah, please do.
So there is this English idiom, right? As they say, as sure as death, right?
As sure as absolutely.
As sure as death, right? That's the idiom. And then like Benjamin Franklin always had, he said, he has a really famous statement that says, the only thing certain in life is death and taxes. That's the only two things for sure we can be certain is death and taxes, right? That's one of his saying.
Yeah.
So, huh? Yeah, for sure, right? No matter where you go, what part of the world, what century, taxes was a thing and death is a thing. So that makes sense. I think, all in this sloka, pretty much, what they're saying is death is inevitable. That is a given.
Yeah.
But the materialistic mind of a man, right? We have something called this is what I came across. Maybe you can help me understand this word better.
Sure.
Abhinevesh, right? Which means instinct to survive all the time. That is a human instinct, or a material mind's instinct is to survive.
Correct.
So no matter what comes at us, the first thing we know is we tried for survival. So that's how we are in by nature.
Yeah.
So I just was thinking about this. So let's say you're trying to drown. What do you want to do? You want to survive. You want to get out of water. You're in fire. You'll get away from fire. So survival is how the human is, or at least we are. It's in our DNA.
Coded. Yeah.
It's coded in our DNA. So we try to, why fight it when the inevitable comes? Don't fight it is how I interpret this.
That's it.
And then more than that, when a loss happens, you are like in pain, but define that pain, right? What is the pain? The pain is, maybe it's a husband losing a wife. Is he really missing the wife, or is he missing the fact that nobody's there to help him and cook stuff or do stuff with him and around him, right? So I think people mourn the things they will miss about the person, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
I feel the real person who will really mourn a soul's passing away is the mother, because of that attachment a mother has. But every other relationship, the pain is superficial, and the pain is limited to the karma that soul was doing for this other soul.
The gaps that were being filled, on a daily basis.
From a daily basis, right? It could be a friend. I'm like, oh, I miss my friend because, when I was down, this friend picked me up. Oh, I could just pick up a phone and call my friend. Oh, this is my dad. Oh my God, I'm in such trouble, Dad. Like, I wish I were here that I could talk through this problem. Mother, oh, I wish you were here. I don't feel well. You would have nursed me back. So the relationship is very selfish and very superficial, right?
Yes, very valid.
That's how I kind of like think about it, and I don't know why I even thought about it, but that's how I always interpreted it.
Yeah.
I used to be really scared of death once upon a time. Not that I've gone over it. I came to a very good. My mother is not here today. I can talk about it. I came very close. I was in a very bad car crash. I came very close to dying in that car crash.
Oh.
She doesn't know about all this. I wouldn't talk in front of my mother.
All right.
So when that happened, till then, death was like something I couldn't face easily. If I was very young. I was only like 22 then, 23 years old. I was living here. In fact, like my husband was in the car too that day. We were about to get married. We were going to come back to India and get married in a few months.
Oh boy.
And like it was a really bad car crash, and we survived. Luckily, not a single scratch happened on us, right? The car was total, literally total. They had to salvage the car, later. But he didn't get hurt. I didn't get hurt. We came out really well. But that's what made me think about death in a very different way. So then after everything was over, after like a day or two, I went to my house, he went to his house. We were thinking, and suddenly in the middle of the night, I woke up with this panic attack is how I would wake up. Just to think that what if I had lost? How would I face his parents? What would I tell his parents? Because I was the one driving that day, right? Even though somebody rear-ended me, this guy was drunk, he rear-ended me and all that.
Yes.
But, my fear was facing the reality. So that's when I started to contemplate about death and start thinking about what is really death? Do you really miss people? Is it the superficial thing is what you're going to miss? I was afraid to face in case something had happened to him that day, right?
Very true.
I was scared to face the truth. So it just made me start thinking and looking at death in a very different way. But I'm not saying I'm over the fear of death. I'm not saying that. It's still, again, the word I came across was abhinevesh is what it is. The instinct to to live, right? Like we will live no matter what. That's our instinct. Is only survival is the instinct a human has. It's like it's ingrained in our DNA.
Yeah.
So so that's how I look at it, right? So I'm trying to, like old age is coming to my parents, his dad, everything. Like people around me are getting older. At some point I have to face it. My biggest fear was facing the death of my loved ones around, right? Like nobody wants to be there. Just the fear would get me going at some point, when I was younger. So just going through that experience, living away, I've lived away from my family for a very long time now.
Yeah.
So just being away, that detachment, kind of learning how to be detached, still be attached, but be detached kind of a thing. And kind of like understand what is that you're missing? Why are we afraid of death? We are not afraid of death because that soul is gone. When you're dead, you're gone. You really don't know what's happening. But you're afraid of losing your people because the comfort of knowing these people, or the karma, what these people would do for you, right? The work, and karma is, I'm using it as a verb, the things they would do for you, right?
Yeah.
And
vice versa.
Is what we miss. I think that is the fear we need to conquer. And I think sometimes I think about it and I kind of go crazy, but I'm glad this class is here.
Yes.
I'm good my mother is not here today.
I know. It couldn't be very traumatic for her to recall or even know.
She doesn't know it came that close. I didn't tell her. My dad knows.
Yeah.
That was again afraid because I didn't want to, like they were so far, and I didn't want to tell them and upset them and all that. I told my dad. My dad knows. I don't think my mother knows 100% what exactly happened. She said later, after a year or two, I told her. One day I was complaining of backache. I had like a really back pain after that. She's like, "You're so young and you keep talking about backache. You know how they talk. I don't know what you'll do once you have kids and all that." Is what I said. Mom, is this from some car accident? And then I was like, "Oh wait, she doesn't know."
Oh yeah. Actually, you just summed up, very basic, the basic things. The basic instincts of a living being is ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna. Ahara, hunger is everyone, even an amoeba, the single-celled animal has ahara, that hunger. And nidra, rest is inevitable. Everyone needs to rest. Nidra, it's a basic instinct. Bhaya, fear, like you just said, fear of losing, fear of survival, fear of the future. Of as higher up the ladder of evolution, the more the fear of all sorts of things. It's not just death; it is all about insecurity about the future also for human beings. And maithuna, that is a sex, is a natural instinct because nature keeps us to proliferate. That's it. It is actually nature which is, surviving through its creation.
Creation.
Right? From the amoeba to the human being, which is, as far as the Darwin's theory, evolution goes, is the human being is the highest. So the basic instinct is to all this. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithuna. So what is the human being trying to do here is go against the law of gravity. That is what the whole thing of rising the kundalini is all about. So the more you rise against these natural instincts and go towards the higher truths, that is the purpose of life. So very, very valid. I mean, to be afraid of death, to be afraid of losing someone, it's very, very, it's a natural instinct, and one should not even feel guilty about it. Yeah, like you said, Shweta, the guilt that goes, the uncertainty and the guilt that follows a loss, that is what is more scary than the actual person, who might cease to appear before you, isn't it? That is very true. Yeah, correct. Anybody else wants to share any insights about this? Brush with death and how one has, or disease. It is very, because these are the experiences which make you the person you are right now. Why are we in this class? Something would have brought us here. Why are we talking about the Gita? So I have
Sorry, finish. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, you carry on.
I personally think, somehow I was fortunate because of my grandmother. We started this when we were very young, right? Literally, I was 7 years old when I started to learn Bhagavadgita.
Wonderful.
And I will share a video with you guys. I have a video of my cousin and I performing this.
Mhm.
We were pretty young. I didn't even know how to read. My cousin was younger than me. She was amazing. So, but anyways, I did it. At some point, I was like, geez, my grandmother's behind me with all this. But throughout, I think, then you go through the very young age. Being away from my family, it kind of like really was grounding me quite a bit, I think. And when people say, "Ayo, idella namge," age ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗೋ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗಳು sorry, I don't think everybody knows Kannada here.
No, most of us do. All of us do, I think.
All of them, like how they say, "Ayo, idella age ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆಗೋದು, ಮುದುಕರಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗೋದು." What is mudukuru? But anyways, age ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗೋದು, ಇವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ಬೇರೆದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು is what people normally say. But I'm really happy to hear that you guys are introducing this in a PC level. I think it should be introduced at like 5th and the 6th grade level, because that's when your mind is maturing and it can go into, it's like a wild horse on like some booze is what our minds become, right? A wild horse on steroids is how your mind is when you're 10, 11 years old, because you're learning so many things about the world. And this will really help people get their bearing and be grounded in life, right? So I think I wish they do this when they're like 5th and 6th. And I really want my kids to get involved. They're 7 now, my twins.
Enroll them to the Gita Jyoti class for kids. That's also happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check. I'll chat with you about it. I don't know about that class.
Yeah. And
So I think it should be at a much younger age, in my opinion.
Yes.
But I'm really fortunate that we all came together, and believe it or not, Friday nights, like I'm exhausted, but I'm so energized to come to this class.
How nice. Nirmala, let's not forget that. Right? Yeah. So
I mean, sometimes I have to miss. Like last week, I was out of town, but like you miss. But my head was in the class. Even like 8:30 came.
How wonderful. I think this is an endorsement for these eternal truths that Krishna. Actually, this morning I was thinking about it. It's not that this was said by Krishna some 5,000 years ago to some fellow called Arjuna. No, it is my own consciousness speaking to me. That is why it is so dear to me, and I want to go back to it again and again, isn't it? It is actually my voice. It is actually my voice. It is here and now. It is relevant here and now to me at this very moment. That is why I come back to it all the time. Isn't it? It is not about some XYZ. It's about me, not even you. It's me. Right? And so, where were we? Anybody else wants to share any experience of how, this inevitability of life is actually, it's very empowering.
Usually,
Isn't it, Nirmala?
Usually,
Yeah.
a husband loves his wife, not because he really loves his wife.
Acha.
He loves himself.
Yes.
He loves himself, his own self.
That is the fact that she is his wife.
Possession.
Yes, sir. Everything is like that.
Yeah.
There is one relationship where these laws don't apply.
Yep.
Mother.
It is
mother and the child. Yeah.
Mother and child relationship is beyond. Kuputro bhavati. Kumata never.
Never.
Bad child, yes. Bad mother, never. So, of all the shokas, of all the people who die, the worst which the mother never gets over. She takes that shoka to her grave.
Correct. Why?
Because she cannot. She cannot. Because the child is herself, her flesh, her blood, her bones. The baby is born out of her. So she never ever, even when the child becomes old and all, for the mother, that the baby is only visible.
The equation remains the same.
Same. However much it grows. So, and this topic over, I want to tell you something. We all have developed similar was in the same class. So we have some karma which is brought us to this class. And I'm ever grateful to you, Purnima. So close to my heart. Discussing all this with your heart open. It is so interesting. Yes. It is not a serious Bhagavad-Gita class. Thank you so much.
Yes, Nirmala ji. So, like Nirmala said, mother can never, forget or get over the loss of a child. Then it's the mothers who need this lesson more than anybody else. Isn't it? Again, the attachment is for the body or the personality of the child. Isn't that right? I think we all need this more. This is the kind of attachment which is going to get us into trouble, isn't it? My child, my daughter, my son. Who is your son? That was Shankaracharya in that Bhajagovindam. He says, what do you mean son? He will come and he will go. So this is exactly what Krishna also tells Arjuna. Come on, Prahasanniva. He gave a very sarcastic smile and said, Arjuna, you should know better. What do you mean, my people? He is giving Arjuna an opportunity to look at the big picture, isn't it? If you look at everything from a selfish, self-centered point of view, you are bound to get hurt. And from the self-centered point of view, he is looking at his uncle and his guru and his brother. That is not the relationship he's supposed to be looking at in that position as a warrior in the middle of the Kurukshetra. That is what Krishna is reminding Arjuna. You are looking at it from a very selfish point of view. Come on, think back. Why did you come to the war? Was it for your selfish benefit? No, I want the kingdom. No, his goal was much higher. Arjuna's goal or the Pandavas' goal actually was aligned with Krishna's goal that Dharma has to prevail. All the adharmis have to go. That is why I am in this position in this Kurukshetra war. That is why I have come. But suddenly what happens in the middle of it all? When the time for action comes, we tend to forget. We have done the Bhagavad-Gita, we have learned all the things, we know Nano Nanan Buddha Nanala, but when the time of reckoning comes, if the teaching doesn't kick in, what happens? We'll become like Arjuna, Vishada Yoga. We'll become, helpless and so overcome with grief that all the teaching will go down the drain. So that is why all the time the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana has to go on so that the teaching is deployed when the time is ripe. Exactly now at this point, we may not need it. But like how Shweta said, how Nirmala said, when you feel that attachment, overpowering attachment or fear or guilt, then the teaching has to deploy. So Krishna is saying this is a wonderful opportunity for us, for all of us. Life itself for all of us is a great opportunity to see the higher, to see the bigger picture, to get the higher picture, to make something meaningful out of life. For Arjuna at that point of time, the moment for why a Kshatriya is born is upon him. Similarly, when there is a challenging situation in front of us, how we respond to it is that point of reckoning for all of us, each one of us. How we respond to the situation at that point of time is it what makes our life more meaningful and worthwhile. Otherwise, we again, Janma, Mrityu, Bhaya, Nidra, Maithuna, Ahara, it goes on and on. How does it? It is stupid. So what do you do with a stupid situation? You have to make it work for you. You have to make it, you have to elevate.
Make a lemonade when life throws lemons at you.
Make a lemonade when life is throwing lemons at you.
Lemons at you.
Yeah, it's happening all the time. It's happening all the time. So that is what, the higher self, my higher self is telling me. Don't sit there lamenting. of how things were, how things, or worrying about how things are going to be. Right here, right now, you need to make a lemonade. Okay, take that stupid knife of yours, cut the lemon and squeeze the juice out of it and enjoy the sweetness of a cool lemonade. So beautiful, no? If every situation, if every opportunity is turned into a learning opportunity, what else do we want? That is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. Just go do it, man. Just do your duty, because it's inevitable. How can you change? Yesterday you were feeling cold. December is gone, January is gone. Now it's very, very hot. Can you change it? No, you go about your business. So that Eckhart Tolle's famous saying is there, no? There are just 3 ways you can handle things in life. I'm sure people are familiar with that phrase of Eckhart Tolle. Very, very famous. He says, there are three ways in which you can handle a situation. An unpleasant situation. Pleasant situation, nobody bothers to talk about it. Unpleasant situation, what do? One, he doesn't say just accept it. No, that is not the first step. Acceptance is not the first step. The first, if you can change it for the better, do it. Isn't it? Why not? If a tap is leaking, change the tap, man, fix it. Call a plumber, fix it, or change it if it needs to be changed. If you can change a situation, change it. So applying to the you escalate it to the highest level. If you're in a very bad relationship, if you are able to get away from it, do that. It is your life. You take the decision in your hands and do it. You have weighed the pros and cons. Go ahead and do it if you can change. Number 2, if you can, what is the other one he says? If you can remove yourself from the situation, do it. If you can remove yourself from the situation. Suppose you're in a bad neighborhood, there is no Kaveri water, and you want to go to a better area. There's metro digging happening all over, and you want to go to a nice, clean, better, calm place. You want to go to America and have a better life. Do it. You don't like India. You think the politicians are all, crooks over here. And of course, you go over there and discover the same things are happening, but still, right. On a bigger scale, on a very polished, suave type of politician. they all speak in English. So, yeah.
Thank you after putting a knife in you.
So you go from a crude crook to a suave crook. So, nothing has changed basically. So there's a second option is if you can remove yourself from a situation, do it. Whereas if you cannot change it, if you cannot remove yourself, the third option is accept it, surrender. No matter how much degree you turn on the AC, if you are going to feel hot, you have to bear with it, man. What can you do? It's inevitable. So the inevitabilities of life, if you cannot change them, accept them. And then do best what you can do with the situation. This is what Eckhart Tolle says. And this is what Krishna is saying, Arjuna. And which is what common sense says. Forget about high jnana. It is common sense. It's how we deal with daily life. Okay, this is ishte. Take. Like that, no? We deal with things in such a manner. It's no use talking to this person. Okay, let it be. So that's what's happening. And so in this way, yeah, tell me. Somebody was saying something.
I'm sorry, it's me, Manu. I also feel the way you said, sometimes we accept whatever happens. Just take it as it comes.
Yeah.
And don't think too much. It's sometimes we even say it's destined to happen or it's good. And if at all we have that in the right thought process, we have been thinking correctly, and we've been, that stability in our mind, depending on that, we just accept it rather than lamenting on it or crying. Yes, sometimes we forget that, we are human. Yes, we have pain, pleasure, everything going around us. And that when we don't like the way it happens, the way it should happen in our way, that time we cry. If it happens the way we want, we are happy. And that's when things things make us sad or happy, or that's what I feel in a
Correct.
different way.
Correct, Anu. So that sadness or happiness or guilt or fear or even that you accept. No, why are we rejecting those emotions?
Right.
Anu.
Yeah. We accept it, but again, there's no rejection as such. But as a human, people forget that, or we forget that. Oh, why this has to happen to me? Why this has, we think nothing should happen to. Yeah. That's what kind of, yeah.
So that is
so we
what
keep
it is.
lamenting, kind of thing.
Yeah, that is what is the thing. No, that exactly, we're looking at it from a very narrow, selfish perspective. That's the trouble. That's the trouble. What I want, what I would like the things to happen, how I would like the other person to behave, not at all in my control. Absolutely not. So we just deal with it. Deal with the cards you have been dealt. And go take the bigger picture. Take the bigger picture. That's the only alternative that one has. And the best part is, it is not permanent. The situation that I am facing right now is not a permanent situation. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityuh. It's not about a person. It's about the moment, the event,
momentary,
the situation. The one which is born, it dies. Today it's hot, tomorrow it might be cold. Finished. That's it. It is so simple actually. And that phrase you have, no, this too shall pass. Nothing is more clearer. It can't get simpler than that. This too shall pass. Even
we shall overcome.
We shall overcome, and without even effort also you will overcome. You don't have to do anything about it. It's an automatic healing process that happens with the world, with everything, isn't it? It's an automatic, it's an inbuilt thing. Otherwise, see, creation, destruction, it keeps happening even if you don't do anything. Right. Only a very insane person will hold on to some whatever hurt and mess up life. Otherwise, it is said that every day when we go to sleep, when we go to deep sleep, the healing happens. That is why the memory gets a little softened. That is how it says time heals. That is the reason. That's the reason a good night's sleep is very necessary. Things will look different the next morning, isn't it? However upset you are this night, when you go to bed, the next morning you will think, why was I worried so much about it? Is that not our experience? Tell me. If not tomorrow morning, the next week, what was important to me last Saturday, it is not important to me right now today. 1 week later, 1 year later, I don't even remember what happened today, isn't it? When my mind itself is so, it just comes and goes. Why should I base my life on these petty emotions? They should not define me. It is a very stupid and unintelligent thing to do, isn't it? So base life on the higher intellect, not the mind, but the intellect, which has the viveka. What is good, what is bad, what is shreyas, what is preyas. That shreyas and preyas are the very, very important concepts in Sanatana Dharma, in Indian philosophy. Shreyas is what is good for me, what the higher self, the shreyas is the voice of Krishna. What is good for me all the time? What is good for me? How I should behave, how I should take things, how I should react. Am I reacting from a narrow sense? Am I being selfish? Am I taking the bigger picture? Am I doing my dharma? See, a lot of dharma talk will come in the next few things, which is beautiful. It leaves no doubt as to what is my duty right now at any point of time, how I should act, how I should behave, how I should react. It's very, very beautifully played out in the next few shlokas in the same second chapter. First, it's all about high funda jnana that Krishna gives. Second, now he is switching gears into plain common sense. Come on, man, you are an intelligent man. Is that how you behave? This is the common sense he gives. The third, he says, he goes into karma. In the same second chapter, it is such a potent, super duper chapter. Karma and dharma come into the picture. So, what are the takeaways from today's talk? I think we said a lot of things. Yeah, basically that it's inevitable. Accept that which is inevitable. Look at things from a bigger perspective. And right now, as a Kshatriya, do your dharma. See, if as a Kshatriya, as a king, as an icon, if you stop doing your dharma, if you develop cold feet, what kind of example will you be giving your people? As the head of a family, as a mother, if you do not, if you are seen by your people in the house as reacting, selfishly to things, what sort of example will you give your children? You are in a position that you have to take the high stand all the time. You have no choice, because like Nirmala said, the mother is the most influential person in a child's life. As a Gruhini is the most influential person in a family. It is said, no, a Gruhini is very important. What are the values she gives to her children, her husband? The husband also, he just he really depends on the on this insight from the Gruhini. That is why the Ardhangi is so important, isn't it? So it is very, very the higher stand, the higher your father or your grandfather, the grandparents, they will always look at the well-being of the entire family. That's how it goes. The little child, he might want a chocolate for himself, but the person on the top should never let the guard down. That is what is the position we should look at ourselves in that position from the highest point of view. What is the best thing to be done for the highest good of all concerned? It's not about me. It's me so little. What I want is so small, so petty. It doesn't matter. What does the other fellow wants? What is the best for the majority of people? That is what is, see, all the best principles of the world are based on this democracy. The majority, what do they want? What's the best way to make the thing best for the majority of people? So these are very commonsensical things. I don't know why we need to forget. We forget it so easily. It is so unintelligent. Is that the only word we can think about, right? So
no, I don't think it's unintelligent. I think what happens is there's so much noise in life, right? There's so much noise.
Much noise. Yeah.
When the noise happens, we forget what's really important. So we have to, I think this courses like this, being amongst a group of people like this, actually will help you weed out the noise better and see really what, help you with a better perspective. I think.
The more noise, the more the need for this. Yeah.
That's the reason we say satsanga, right?
Satsanga. There's a very nice way of putting it, there's a very nice, in olden days, there used to be a well in everybody's house in the backyard. There used to be a well, and people used to, put the pulley with a pulley, they used to draw the water, and there used to be a small stone block on the right side of the well where they used to place the pot of water. Okay. So years together, generations of people drawing the water and placing that pot on the rock, drawing water, placing the, I don't know the water is used, consumed and all that, but the place where the pot is placed develops a small dent there. Over and over and over and again, you're keeping the pot there on the rock. Even a rock can take the shape of the pot. So what about the mind is so fluid? The human mind is so fluid. It's very easy to mold the mind. If the rock can be shaped by repeatedly placing the pot on it, the mind can easily be shaped by satsanga, shravana, manana, nididhyasana. This is called as nididhyasana, doing it again and again and again. Despite, and this especially despite constraints. Today is Habba, I cannot come. No, I want to do it. This is what, this is the effort that one needs to put, to make the dent in the vasanas. This is how the subconscious mind has to be filled with, the pure water to replace the dirty water. Because the dirty water cannot be emptied. It has to be diluted only. So that is what Prabhuji says. You cannot throw out the garbage you have. Just replace it with good stuff. That's all. So that's what we keep doing. And we come back and again for the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana and get the benefit of the highest teachings of Bhagavan. Anything else people want to add?
Wonderfully said about the well and the slab.
Yes.
Story. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
The more we chisel our brain, and the more we learn, and the more we get clarity on it, I guess we'll be close to it.
Yeah. That's the only way, Anu. There is no other choice. That is why this beautiful system of the pedagogy is there. Listen, contemplate, be established in it. Shravana, listen, Manana, contemplate on the teachings, and Nididhyasa, get established more and more into the truth. That's the only way. There is no shortcut. There's no shortcut.
Purnima, you were talking about these 3 ways to handle unpleasant situation by Eckhart Tolle, right?
Yeah.
So I also look at it kind of the 3 ways that is there. Every situation, whenever we are in any unpleasant or any situation rather, how do we do? There are 3 ways. I take it these 3 ways. Like 1, you react. Let's say a boss or an employee is there and the boss shouts at the employee. So what can the employee do? He can react, shout back. That is one way, react. The other one is absorb. Don't say anything, just absorb it. Say yes or don't say anything. It's just, that is, you're taking it. So absorb. And the third way is just think over it, respond in a way, what is right, what is wrong. If you need to accept it, and then say what needs to be done. And you, those energies, you can transform it and radiate your happy energies, and so that the other person gets it that, okay, fine, I accept it, but yes, I will be, whatever it is. You take it in the right way, which will, neither a reaction nor an absorption. You react back, he may get offended. You are taking it on you unnecessarily. There may not be any fault of yours.
Correct.
Rather, you just listen to it, and then you respond in a way, which is the right way to understand, and make them also understand, you also understand.
Absolutely. Correct. That's the
every situation. That's what I take. React, or what is that I said? One is react, the other one is absorb, the last one is respond in the right way.
Right way. Very correct, Padmaja. Very correct. Yeah, we need.
That's so nice. Yeah,
So nice.
wonderful.
Very beautiful. Correct. Yeah.
So I think at the end of this, I think, right, we, there's a lot of content, right? Of course, Bhagavadgita is like a lot. But one thing what just comes to my mind is, like, based on what I've heard in this class the last few days, actually 3 times, right? Is at the end of the day, we have to do our karma, but for nimitta matra, right? That's what Krishna says in one of the shlokas. For the purpose of it is what you do. Whatever has to happen is already like decided. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't put the effort. The effort should always be there and do your best in any given situation.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
For the nimitta matra. I think for me, if I just take the noise out, that's what is where my brain just went to. And that's what I think. I try to contemplate on that. The nimitta matra is a very important 2 words in so far what I've heard is how
that's my WhatsApp status. Nimitta matram bhava.
Oh, really?
Just be an instrument. You are just an instrument. What do you think you are? You're just a bamboo which Krishna holds, and when he blows through it, it becomes a flute. Otherwise, it's just a bamboo, hollow bamboo. So become a hollow bamboo. Just become a nimitta matra. Just you are an instrument through which the song of God can be played. Isn't it? What is the song of God? Entire universe. The play of Maya is the song of God. And, I'm just an instrument. Even that is looking at myself from a very narrow viewpoint. I'm just looking at this drama also. I am Krishna. That is ultimate. That's the ultimate realization. But right now, okay, I feel like a puppet. So as a puppet, you have no choice. But this is a very dangerous way of looking at it also. It can be very pessimistic way of taking it. It is not about pessimistic. It is about, it should be empowered. See, when you say
Yeah.
I'm a puppet, everything is destiny, let things happen the way. No, that is not it. It has to be an empowering feeling that God is in charge of my life. Why am I worried? Isn't it? So I think we need to transform that puppet feeling, that pessimistic, what's the word I'm using? Defenseless feeling to an empowering one. I don't have to do a damn thing. Everything is taken care. Everything is charted out to me. I just need to flow without, like Shweta said, removing the noise from my head. All will be well. You stop interfering with your petty ideas, and all is sorted out for you. That is what we need to understand. We come from a higher space. The understanding comes from a higher space. It's empowering. When it comes from a helplessness, from a state of helplessness, it can be very, pessimistic. That's why people commit suicide, I guess. They don't know what to do. They feel so disappointed and disgusted with life. People even kill themselves. What drives them to it? Because they don't have the big picture. They don't know. They do know that this too shall pass, but they don't have the patience, or they're so, I don't know. Let's not go into the mindset of that's what.
Huge mental health issue, and yeah, it is a thing, right, with a lot of people. So
Yeah, it's
you're right.
yeah. So
I
okay,
hope they all find Bhagavad-gita on time, so they don't do it. Is what we can hope for.
they have to come to it. It's inevitable. They need to come back to it. The Vishada should give rise to Jnana. Arjuna's Vishada will transform into Jnana. Only just turn your face to Krishna, like Arjuna did, right? All right, then. Shall we call it a day? And for Yugadi, Shubhakrutu Samvatsara. See, in the Yugadi also, in the practice that we have, Kannadigas, we have this neem and bevu and bella, right? We do a mixture of jaggery and neem. Neem is very bitter and jaggery is sweet. And we add a dash of lime also to it, asor. That this is life. It's a mixture of all the flavors. So enjoy it. That is a message inherent in this Yugadi. We are doing that today. So take everything with a pinch of salt also. So that's the message for the day. Yeah, that's it. We can close with a prayer. So let's meet next week. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Nanu Nanembudu Nanalla. Ideha Manabuddhi Nanalla. Sachidanandatma Shivananu Nane. Shivoham Shivoham Shivoham. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.